Absent tonight, Councilmember Whitstein. Here. Mayor Parham.
Present.
May I get a motion to excuse Councilmember Virasong?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do need to have all votes by roll call this evening because we have Councilmember Mazzoni appearing by audio.
All right, well, we'll begin to vote by roll call.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Palfini,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
Mayor Parham.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, acceptance of agenda and urgency items. Do we have anything that we need to reorganize or remove from the agenda tonight?
Nope.
No.
I don't see any.
All right,
Move to accept the agenda.
I'll second.
okay,
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
yes or no?
Yes.
Move- Councilmember Palfini,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
Mayor Parham.
aye. All right, this is the point where we take non-agenda public comment. This will include both the remote location as well as here in Weed. So if we have anybody that has a public comment for anything that's not on the agenda, now is the time to come forward.
Jim Striegel, 2601 North Old Stage Road, Mount Shasta. Chief Mayray, Sandy, me and Ken go way back. I haven't had a chance yet to address Daryl or Melissa, our two new council people. Nice to finally talk to you. I'm not sure if this is on the agenda or relative, but I'm so looking forward, as are many other visitors to this town and other tourists, to the upcoming 420 celebrations in town. Driving through Weed again today, it broke my heart to see how many empty buildings are still on Main Street. I've been coming to council meetings for 12 years, and there's been some progress made, but then it falls back. This town desperately needs tourism and visitors to come here. The reason one of the attractions they find is our town's name. Some people make a joke about it, but it's been a boon to the economy. And I'd like to thank Elizabeth for sticking her neck so far out and spending so much time and money on her business that has brought employment to this town, tax revenue to this town. And I'm looking forward to playing music at her establishment on 420 for the celebration. And I just came to ask you guys if you could kind of get behind the push and make this whole event happen and not put up any roadblocks or problems, because the town likes the event. The businesses desperately need the visitors to come here, and I've got some other plans that I would love to take up with our two new members at a future meeting. I'll be contacting you about some plans I have with some property that I have in town here, and anyway, I'd like to thank you for the time and your service to this community, because I know it's not a highly paid position, and you guys are doing it for the love of the city, and I give you props for that. So I just came to introduce myself and ask you to, if you can, help expedite the upcoming celebration. It's kind of strange that it's falling on Easter Sunday. It's a quirk of the calendar, but it's out of all of our control. And welcome to the Weed City government. Thanks, Ken. Nice to see you again. And get a little scruffy, my friend. Thank you.
all right. Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other public comment from either location? All right, seeing there's no
Nope.
additional public comment, we will move on to the next item, which is adjourn to closed session for public employment, employee appointment for city manager. Accept the motion to.
I'll
adjourn to
move to
close.
closed session.
I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Councilmember
Yeah.
Mazzoni, Councilmember Palfini,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Yes.
Mayor Parham.
all right. Oh, Do we have any public comments from either location for the closed session item that we were about to adjourn to?
No.
All right, we are here so adjourned.
For the audience, we'll be back in about 20, I guess, right?
20 to 40, I don't know what it takes.
Don't mind the ball when I sleep.
I sleep much these days. Leave my drink up here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, Mark, just a heads up, go ahead and disconnect. They're gonna call you on your cell phone, to do this closed session.
Call me on my cell phone? Okay,
Yes, sir. And then you can call
Okay.
back when we're ready to start again, back in, open session.
okay, the same number that we just used, right?
Yes, sir. Same number.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
But no, but someone else, before they even had cannabis dispensaries, was putting on what they actually called 420 music events here.
Well, that was me.
Okay, you.
I put on 3 Leaf Fest concerts, 2013, 2015, and 2016. All bands, vendors, shut down the street. And.
I'll grab it out of the public.
Everyone got along fine and raised money for the park, raised money for the
So Sandy, for the record, we had a 4-0 vote to adjourn the open session and we have no reportable action.
Down in.
All right, is Mark with us on the other electronic device now?
Mark?
Jeremy, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Must be
We're still
good.
waiting for Mark to connect.
Yeah, they're both at 9:30 now.
Hold on, I'll
Oh, that's true. Think about that. Waiting for Mark.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, because he both orchestrating.
I just told him to call the original number. That's the one he's calling, Sandy. The first number you sent him.
Yes. Unless Jeremy's having him call Jeremy's phone. Oh.
There's someone.
Here he is.
There's Jeremy.
Okay.
I can
Mark, can you hear us okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay. He's back.
All right. Now that we're back to open session, no reportable action, we will move on to council member announcements, meeting reports and comments. Mark, since we'll let you go first since you've got a good connection at the moment.
Okay, just want to tell everyone to help set up this connection so I could zoom in and get this going. I appreciate that. Again, to the staff, fire department, police department, public works during the storms that we had. Again, they did a very good job, timely manner. I want to tell everyone thank you, and of course the staff always.
All right, Councilmember Wetstein.
No, nothing for me this time.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Palpini.
Yeah, just briefly, I think we have representative from SEDC here today. I would say that I attended yesterday's meeting with the RCA. One of these days I'll even remember what that stands for, but okay. It actually proved to be fruitful. I think the group there's some little bit of coalescing going on. First couple of meetings, first meeting I went to, I think it was 3 of us, maybe 4. This one seemed to have maybe 20, so I didn't take a head count, but I'm just ballparking around the room. So there seemed to be progress, so I thought that was good. That's
All right.
it.
I was able to attend the Lao New Year last Saturday at the community center, and like to report that was a very successful event. It's good to see community organizations coming together, building a successful group and organizing an event like that. That was very well done. Unfortunately, I did miss the RCAC workshop yesterday due to other commitments. So thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Palpini, for being there. And would like to remind everybody of the Chinese auction that the Chamber of Commerce is hosting this Saturday at the Sons and Daughters of Italy Hall. And that's it for the next week or so coming up. So now we'll move on to presentations and proclamations.
What time is the meeting on Saturday?
The Chinese auction,
Yes.
I believe, starts at 5:30, but you want to talk to anybody's interested, please go to the visitor center and check with them on as far as tickets. I think the tickets at the door will be limited. All right, so on to presentations and proclamations. So we have Corey Hayden here from the Siskiyou County Economic Development Council to present us with an update. I have a note here that Heather and Jason will be here, but it looks like you're solo
They
tonight.
sent me with their notes and I am qualified to represent both Heather and Jason. So thanks for being agile with the change. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here following those initial workshops that were here at council chambers with about recharging Weed's economy a few weeks ago. And I'm proud to share that we have completed 2 formalized workshops. And as Councilmember Palfini expressed, they've had between 17 and 20 people at each session, and the facility has been wonderful, and we've been able to have a nice dinner at each session. And I'll talk about that last today, but I'll definitely mention the workshop series, and that there's 2 more workshops left. So yes, the Siskiyou Economic Development Council has had a relationship with the city of Weed for decades, and part of our responsibility in that relationship is to come and share updates and progress and events that are coming up and resources that will help you serve your constituents. Our mission is based in business strength for startups or established businesses. And so we hold the formalized Shasta Cascade Small Business Development Center. And this means anytime a business comes to you in a position of questioning or peril or strength or inquiry, that you have a resource that you can give them. And that's to encourage them to schedule time and enroll as a small business client. You can also encourage them to make it a first step. So if they're trying to engage with you in a great need, you can say, have you enrolled as a client at the Small Business Development Center? It's something we really want you to do. They can help you formalize your business plan and have an advisor really dedicated to help a business in their unique needs. And then you might say, then come back to us. So if it helps you help a business, please use us and help direct them to our services. Our services are confidential, so our advisors and team and staff keeps the meetings and the information and the content with that business discussed private. And so we have 12 unique clients that received counseling in the past year from Weed across 21 counseling sessions and about 30 hours. We offered 29 virtual training sessions last year, and we have 11 specialized advisors that can help businesses in their particular focus or area of need. And we're really proud of that class of expertise that we provide to businesses at no cost. We have 2 major events coming up that are business related. One, we chose Weed as the venue for that event. So it's the Siskiyou Capital Summit on April 22nd. It'll be at the Weed Community Center from 4 to 6 p.m. I have a flyer, so I'll be sure that Sandy has this flyer. But we're really proud to hold this countywide event at the Weed Community Center with several sponsors as well to help with facility and food and connection. And so it's a place where small business owners can understand capital readiness and capital opportunities to help them grow. In the world of business, a loan opportunity is certainly a strengthener and an accelerator for a business with a good, sound financial plan. And so it is an element that we make available through our services. It's something we believe in the role of business in a responsible manner. So prior to my work at the EDC, I thought loans were scary. I no longer think all loans are scary. I think they can be a very healthy business tool for a business that's prepared. So this is an exciting event right here in Weed. And then what else? Oh yeah, the NorCal procurement fair. So if you think about that state government wants to procure small businesses to do certain kinds of contracts and work. And so the procurement fair will help local businesses get ready for those types of contracts. This event, however, is at the Wind River Casino. So it's not based right in Siskiyou, but it's still serving Siskiyou County clients. And so that's on May 2nd from 10 to 3 at the Wind River Casino for businesses. So these are both events we're pushing out in our communications right now. So keep in mind, if you have any questions about the Small Business Development Center, let me know at the end of my presentation. I'd be glad to answer them. And I have lots of flyers that can be handed out to somebody. Again, I do believe that businesses come to council often for help and advice and guidance and requests, and we can help. So we want to help. You invest in us so that we help. The other program that we are known for in cities in the county is Discover Siskiyou. And so in I have to remember accurately, 2015. We were part of the organization among all the lodging properties in Siskiyou County to create a tourism improvement district. This meant that with every lodging stay overnight, that a small percentage would be assessed to the customer, and that 2% assessment, not a tax, an assessment, would be located in a fund that would then invest in marketing in the region. So it's a self-circulating investment. The district is made up of lodging properties. They desire heads and beds. So the investment is to benefit them through marketing. So that's the purpose of the fund. And it generates, it started out in 2016 when established, it generated about $500,000 annually. Now it's closer to $1 million. So there has been growth and increased stays since it was established. And it's a mechanism for, like I said, out of area marketing with large billboards encouraging overnight stays in Siskiyou County, print marketing, digital marketing, video and photo assets. So we are positioned and we do perform at a high level of profession to market the area in a way that's compelling to the overnight visitor. So I always give the definition of what the TBID is every time I come, because it's very easy to mix up what it is with like a tax. And so I'm like, it's not a tax, it's an assessment. It's managed by the District of Lodging Properties. And so the committee the management committee is overseen by several lodging properties all throughout the county. And so in Weed, Balmick of the High Low is the representative on the committee. And so he's privy to the annual approval of the strategy and the budget and all of the workings of the TBID. So occupancy in Siskiyou is up 3% month over month and 4% year over year. We have several mechanisms by which we analyze the growth of the TBID and the increase of overnight stays specifically that we feel confident that we see in the city of Weed as well. And so something new that we have created and introduced Siskiyou Magazine, a visitor's guide, which will be located in every lodging property. It puts Siskiyou County forward in a really bright light with activities and I would call it like regional identities, like the idea that you can bike here and you can see a nationally known park here. So we're really, really proud of what Siskiyou Magazine is going to look like for all of us and the methods of communication and that it should direct tourists to very good, compelling experiences in Siskiyou while they're here and inspire them to return. So it will be provided to lodging properties and the Chamber of Commerce offices and hounded out for free. We anticipate 2 issues a year, one in the spring, one in the fall. And the mentions of the city of Weed in this issue include the Living Memorial Sculpture Garden, the Steampunk Festival, specifically Carnivale, the car show, and the Mount Shasta Brewing Company. So some really great highlights you'll be able to see in the magazine. The Volcanic Scenic Byway, we have representation on that board with Jason Young, and it's in the next stages of development towards becoming a direct marketing organization. So even though the TBID exists, additional direct marketing organizations can exist in the same place. And so grant partners will be on site in August to do a full inventory of places of interest along the byway. The city of Weed is one. And during this visit, an educational summit will take place. So people will definitely be in the area experiencing the assets in preparation for this. I don't know a ton more about this, but this is exciting progress from this. I would call it this initiative that Richard Dinges, I think, is also involved with as well. So every year, Discover Siskiyou strategically awards marketing investments and events. And so the Steampunk Festival received a $3,000 marketing award for this year's event. And I know that those awards go a long way to help establish marketing efforts for our local events. And in communities and cities, so many volunteers and organizations are working very, very diligently to plan events and navigate permitting and go through all the process that they need to have a successful event. And so we do have an event planning and fundraising guide on our Discover Siskiyou industry site. So we like to make reference to that as well. and also some experts on staff in the permitting processes. So sometimes we can help break that down for businesses in a way that might be helpful for them to understand, to navigate those systems. The last thing I want to share with you today is the progress of the Recharge Weed workshops. That can be a really easy way to say what it is, and it's kind of catchy and it feels positive. But the group has now had 2 sessions of developing ideas and concepts and sharing things that are important to them. And starting to narrow kind of categories that they would like to work on in the future. A lot of this is business readiness, helping businesses start up and establish and scale towards brick and mortar, but maybe not having the first step be necessarily brick and mortar, kind of finding that early entry, energizing place for businesses to begin and work towards that. Really clever vibrancy things like sharing business profiles and photos of businesses doing great things in weed. And it's really creating what we call an economic ecosystem, showing what's happening now, showing what could happen in the future, and sort of guiding towards positive change. And most positive, great change is a lot of small things adding up to start to look like something larger. So I know that's vague, but the groups are very smart. They are very kind. They're very dedicated weed citizens, and it's great to see them in the room together, thinking and dreaming about the weed that they would like to be part of. And so there's 2 more workshops, and they will be of similar format and at the community center, 2 to 8 p.m. And I'm just going to restate the dates, and I will keep posting on the City of Weed Economic group that's on Facebook, but they are April 23rd and May 14th. And, you know, we always remind everyone who participates to keep coming, and the more people in the room, the better. But we will never be hindered by size. That this group of 12 to 17 people that are coming are really wonderful, and it's been such a privilege to work with them and hear their ideas of what they believe in. It's very, very exciting. I'm going to share with Sandy, and she can pass it up if she wants, but this is just a strategy document for the EDC. So sometimes we talk about what we do and it's hard to remember, but this is something you can take home, and you can hold this and read it and really understand who we are and what we do. Business attraction came up yesterday, and the group was really like, you know, there's a lot of, in any group, in any city, there's a lot of the city should. And I see so much that we can also help with when people say the city should. I'm always like, well, we hold that, we can do that. Don't forget about us, you know, we're right here. And so this strategy document can always help you see avenues that we can assist with to support. So I'm going to hand this over, and the Capital Summit flyer. And you probably have lots of these, Sandy, but you can never have too many. I encourage council to have a couple of these in your briefcase or your bag. And so when you do meet a business, just right across the table, because we always want more engagement in our professional services. So is there any questions that I can answer from anyone? Thank you for your time. We're always here to talk and develop and think and do better and serve in a more impactful way. And so if anybody on your staff ever wants to talk about how, we're really willing to adjust or do things differently or come more often to help really assist in your economic development needs. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the work you've been doing and looking forward to future growth.
I was impressed with the fact that she was trying to lighten our load a little bit from the city should, which would be nice, but sometimes impossible for us. So thanks.
All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Go through the list of items and discuss if we need to make any changes. So first item A, by motion, consider adopting resolution number 08-2025, awarding the Bowles and Mill Street Rehabilitation Project to JF Shia and authorizing the mayor or city manager to enter into the contract. Item B, by motion, consider approving contract amendments for city attorney. Item C, by motion, consider approving minutes from March 13th, 2025 regular meeting and March 24th, 2025 special meeting. Item D, by motion, consider approving payment warrants dated March 25th, 2025, including any voided warrants totaling $464,448.99. And item E, by motion, consider approving and filing the month-end report for March 2025. Are there any items the council would like to discuss or pull from the consent agenda?
Not on.
Councilmember Mazzoni, you still with us?
Jeremy, did we lose Mark?
Did we lose Jeremy as well?
Okay, no, I have it for the, I'm good with the most consent agenda.
Yeah.
You can continue with the meeting. You still
Yeah.
have quorum.
Go for it again, Mark.
You there, Jeremy?
There he is.
There he is.
Councilmember Mazzoni, do you have any questions or changes for the consent agenda?
No, I do not.
Okay, do we have any public comment from either location regarding the consent agenda? All right. There seems to be no public comment at either location.
With that, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll now move on to a vote.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes,
Councilmember Palfini,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
Mayor Parham.
Aye. Motion carries by unanimous consent. There are no items removed from the consent agenda, so we'll now move on to council business. Item A, finance. By motion, council will consider adopting resolution number 09/2025, approving mid-year budget adjustments for fiscal year 2024 to 25.
Thank you. So these are just mid-year budget adjustments. I've detailed out, the specific adjustments that I'm requesting. In total, the impact to the general fund is actually a positive impact of 13,241 after these budget adjustments. So, that's good news. And are there any specific questions on the items I have listed? Or would you like me to go through them all individually?
I'm okay with if there's any questions to be asked or answered, because I would assume that both our council and our public are very thorough in reviewing the documents the staff presents to us all ahead of time.
Okay.
Sorry. Any questions from council or any public comment? Is there any desire from our public tonight at either location to hear the list of items? In case you may have not read the posting online. All right, there seems to be no questions from the public or from the council, so
Okay.
I did enjoy your exhaustive list and reasoning and was excited that it was a favorable adjustment overall for the net, so
So was
good
I.
work.
I
Great.
started at the end.
Good idea.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 09/2025, approving mid-year budget adjustments for fiscal year 24-25.
I second.
All right. On to our vote.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
yes,
Councilmember Palfini,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
Mayor Parham.
Aye. Motion carries by unanimous consent. When we move on to item B, fire. By motion, council will consider approving the Weed Volunteer Fire Department to apply for the Volunteer Fire Capacity Grant, which is due May 5th, 2025. This is a 50/50 grant match up to $10,000.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. We're requesting authorization to apply for that 50/50 matching grant. The total costs would be $20,000 and the matching would be 10. up to 10 if approved. And we're looking to purchase some equipment like wildland personal protective equipment, some new nozzles, and continue with our replacing of our communication radios. The application's due on May 5th, and I'm just looking for approval to apply for that grant.
All right.
And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Any questions from the council?
No, I just would make the statement that we approve this year over year. So I think this is kind of a rote procedure. It's kind of like COPS to me, the COPS grant. So I don't have any objection to it.
Councilmember Mazzoni, any questions from your end?
No, I'm good with this.
All right. Do we have any public comment at either location? All right. Well, it looks like there's no comment or questions. Pretty straightforward with this one here. So I will make a motion to approve the Weed Volunteer Fire Department to apply for the Volunteer Fire Capacity Grant.
A second.
All right, we'll now move on to a vote.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Palfini,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
Mayor Parham.
Aye. Motion carries by unanimous consent. Okay, item C, Public Safety Special Event Encroachment Permit. By motion, council will consider approval of special event encroachment permit pending receipt of insurance for the closure of Main Street from 0800 hours, May 17th, 2025 until 1800 hours, May 18th, 2025, 34 consecutive hours, as well as waivers of Weed Municipal Code 9.16.010 and 9.16.030 for outside sale and consumption of alcohol within the event boundaries for the Weed Chamber of Commerce Steampunk Festival, and approve a no parking on Clay Street along the west curb during the event closure times. There's a note that insurance is due the city 15 days before the event. I will make comment here that I will need to recuse myself from this discussion. I have 3 conflicts of interest. One, I have a business on Main Street in the event closure area. 2, I am the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and 3, I am a co-chair for this festival for the chamber. So full disclosure there, and will remove myself from the DS. Please let me know when you're ready for me to return.
So
Are they all in order here?
we have the Golden Hour Collective. It's on
That
Main.
one's not Main Street, so I'll come back to the next one and then I'll have another Main Street one.
Any discussion by council on the item before us regarding the steampunk? I guess, hold on, we should probably, I apologize. We should probably hear from Justin if everything has been met. What do you like to say?
As of the time I took my notes, we're still waiting. We have not received indemnification or insurance. Have we received signatures of businesses within the affected area? We have not received that, so that would need to be stipulated that we receive those. Again, the insurance needs to be 15 days before the event. And I would leave the same for the signatures. It'd just be easier that way, yeah.
I would just note that the outdoor consumption of cannabis is not listed as prohibited. I would assume it's the same as the rest.
It's the same. There's a health and safety code that outdoor cannabis can't be consumed at any time. So we typically just go off that health and safety code for everything.
Okay.
So do we need to
What?
table this till next meeting to know whether they have filed in the 15 days?
No, I think we can approve it pending the acceptance of all of the required documents.
It would be like conditions subsequent, right? So if they don't fulfill those conditions,
Yeah.
providing the insurance, identification and signatures, then they wouldn't get their permit.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
So I'll make a motion. Mark, did you have any comments?
No, I want to make sure that everybody involved in this has all the permits and everything prior to doing this. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Any public comment? No. With no public comment, I'll move and look for a motion. If you want me to do it, I can do that.
I would move to approve a special event encroachment permit pending the receipt of insurance as well as the signatures from the businesses who were affected.
I'll second that.
And I would probably add to that all of the other conditions set forth by the chief. I think there's no parking on Clay Street, waivers for boundaries. That's the signature. Do we have to have signatures on those?
No, so the waivers is just granting the ability to sell and consume alcohol within the event boundaries. I'm requesting we've done it at a past event and it worked out very well. It allows a little bit more emergency service access, public works access on a neighboring street that gets utilized when the closure on Main Street happens. The street's very narrow and this allows a little bit more fluid traffic flow.
Okay. So I'll make
So I think
a,
Councilmember, I think if I understand correctly, then Mayor Pro Tem is asking for a friendly amendment
yes, a friendly
to
amendment.
Councilmember Wetstein's motion to incorporate all of staff's recommended conditions.
Yes.
That's correct.
So that's okay with.
Okay, so I will motion that we accept the special event encroachment permit as a friendly amendment.
Well, it's already
there.
The moving party has accepted the friendly amendment, so now we just need a second.
Okay, then I will second that.
Okay.
And all in favor?
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Palfini,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein.
Aye.
And do we need to go get Daryl?
Daryl, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. You get rusty after lunch.
Gotta keep you in practice, right?
Yeah, I was kind of rusty. That's okay.
I don't think.
Say about the same 25 people doing everything in the whole town. It's good.
I it's a hard little day, probably 8 a.m. this morning, so I'm a little bit foggy anyway.
All right, so you've concluded item C, I take it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to item D, public safety, special event encroachment permit. By motion, council will consider approval of special event encroachment permit to close a portion of the city parking lot at the north corner of East Inez Street and Clay Street from 0900 April 15th, 2025 until 2100 hours, April 20th, 2025 for the 1-year anniversary of Golden Hour Collective. The city did not receive a request to waive the Wee Municipal Code 9.16.10 and 9.16.030, so no outdoor sales and consumption of alcohol are prohibited. Outdoor consumption of cannabis is also prohibited. So I have a question for our city attorney, because this is the parking lot that is not on Main Street. Is there a conflict of interest being a Main Street business owner?
The rule of thumb is if it's 500 feet from your property, then it's presumptively a conflict.
Okay.
And then if it's between 500 feet and 1,000 feet, then it's a conflict only if the decision is going to have a substantial impact on traffic flows, views, noise, odors, etc. So I don't know the actual distance. You'd have to use your best
Right.
estimate.
In this case, I have no participation or knowledge whatsoever of that business or their event that they're doing for themselves, nor does that affect.
It's not
Main
about
Street.
knowledge, it's just about distance.
Yeah, and I believe that parking lot's 1,000 feet away or more, so. How much? 600, okay, so the 500, so, I don't see any conflict here unless the staff has a recommendation,
What does legal say?
I think that the question is whether or not this proposed event is going to have a substantial impact on traffic and noise and ingress and egress to your property. So that's a
I
factual
don't-
issue that without more information, I am unable to provide you legal opinion from the dais. The conservative advice is always to recuse yourself if there is a question, so as to avoid the potential for an FPPC complaint.
Your Honor.
So I have, I don't believe it'll have any issue, but in the interest of fairness, I'm gonna go ahead and recuse myself from items D and E. Because item E does affect Main Street and one of my interests there. And item D, well, I don't see a conflict. I'd rather err on the side of caution. And since Councilmember Rizzoni was kind enough to call in tonight, we have a quorum. So I will turn over to Mayor Pro Tem Palfini and recuse myself from both items D and E. And we'll be back. Actually, well, D, E, and F, because F is an extension, I think, of E for the no parking on Clay Street. So I hereby stand recused, and please call me back for the staff report section of the meeting. And I will go take my coffee and hang out next door.
All right. Okay, can I get a staff report?
Okay, so the city's received an encroachment application permit for the permit requested a closure of the north municipal parking lot between Main Street and Clay Street for half of the parking lot for 12 hours a day. It states that they will be closing part of the parking lot to host food vendors in celebration of their anniversary. The event will feature various food stands and activities for the community. So some things that the council needs to consider here. My recommendation in my agenda memo was to close that half of the parking lot, at least barricade it off for a full 24 hours for the entire 6 days. The reason being is there are residents that utilize those municipal parking lots by permit. They will still have half of that parking lot to be able to utilize for their parking, as well as the one across the street. But if they were by chance inadvertently parked within the boundaries of that closure in the 12 hours that was not closed off, then we would have to find them the next day and tell them to move along. So that could present a problem with between the hours of 9 PM and the next morning of 9 AM, we'd be trying to find that person at 9 AM the next morning to say, hey, can you move your car out of the closure area into the area you're allowed to park in? So my recommendation would be to just close it off for the full 24 hours, which would be 6 days total. Half of the parking lot is not a very accurate number, so I went out there and checked. Half of that parking lot running from north to south would be 45 feet of that parking lot. Now, the activities that are going to occur, food booths, I can only assume vendors. The other potential here is music. You do have residents that live directly next to that on both Main Street apartments and on Clay Street residences. So that would also be a potential for a noise conflict. The other issue that we're going to run into is we already have an approved event on 420. With that being said, you're going to have limited parking because of the Main Street closure. You're now going to limit half of one of your municipal parking lots. And I'm going to also ask this meeting for limited parking on Clay Street so that traffic flowing from Central Weed to the high school area has a road that's a little bit more safer by having limited parking on one side. So we have some multiple items occurring here.
Based on the fact that you are requesting limited parking, that's gonna kind of close the street down completely. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm not positive about that.
No.
Have they provided any kind of map or
It's a very basic map of we want this
Parking lot.
part of the parking lot.
It's in the agenda packet.
Yeah, it should be attached to the site plan.
I'm not looking at it right now.
The biggest concern here as far as that parking lot is we do have people that have permits to park there. Their residence is on Main Street. So that's a big concern. I want them to be able to go home at night or go home anytime during the day, actually.
How many permits are we talking about that have been issued for residents of Weed who are entitled to use that municipal lot?
Currently, I want to say, and I don't have that number off the top of my head, it's 3 to 4. I believe that reside in that one particular residence that's going to be directly affected by it.
And that residence would be within your shot of the music, foot traffic.
That and several others would be. This residence would be off of Main Street above one of the commercial buildings. Then there is one residence on Clay Street that has a Clay Street address that will abut right up to this closure, as well as residents across Clay Street that will be affected by that would be if they were to have any sort of DJ or live band there.
Has there ever been an equivalent for the city? I mean, obviously, when we close Main Street, we ask the businesses to weigh in and to sign off. Where this is and located near residences, have we ever requested the same thing as the signature sign off for agreement to allow these to occur?
No, the only time that this ever comes up typically is in planning and conditional use permits for something that's needs to be approved by planning commission. We started the practice of requiring the businesses, but there's actually nothing in the ordinance that's codifying that.
So we have the ability to do what we feel is necessary based on the fact that they're applying for the permit.
Well, you have the ability to approve a modification. You have the approve as presented. My recommendation is a modification and at the very least to the 24-hour closure of that portion of the parking lot, because staff would have to go out every morning and ensure that parking lot that nobody was in that parking lot, so it could be closed for the event. This is also going to require them with a 12-hour closure. It's going to require any booths to be taken down every night. The booths won't be able to be allowed unless you are going to allow that as well. But 12-hour closure, any tent or concession booth is going to need to be removed.
On their diagram indicate alley, so is that on Main Street, or are they referring to Clay Street as the alley?
No, they're referring to the alley between Main Street and Clay Street.
Okay.
What's not represented here, this is not to scale or accurate. The parking lot goes, if you're looking at this current site plan to your right, it would go much further, and there would be the 211 commercial property with a residence and the 203 commercial property. Now, I will say that the 203 commercial property does utilize that municipal parking lot as well. That would be the Weed Pub. They utilize that daily.
Okay.
That's in a residential area.
Well,
Am I correct in that?
It's on the backside of Main Street. So there are residents
Right.
on Main Street, and then Clay Street residences will be affected as well.
Right, and you're talking about music going from, is it 9 a.m. until 2100 hours?
I don't know that. The Councilman Mazzoni, it just says activities. So I'm trying to speculate what those activities might be.
Yeah, that's a concern for me. And it's 5 days long, correct?
6 days.
6 days of having possible food and music in that.
Well, it
Yeah,
says,
Go ahead.
Councilman Mazzoni, I didn't interrupt. They will host food vendors, feature
Right.
various food stands and activities. But again, I can only speculate that there may be vendors, there may be music. I don't,
That
I
reminds
wish I
me
had,
of, go ahead.
I just wish I had more of an idea, or we had more of an idea exactly what they're talking about putting in there. It's
correct.
pretty
That would
plain.
be
It's
nice.
not really, you know, so that's my concern. I am a little concerned about that for 6 days. And that to me is residential.
Mark, I would say two things. One, they're doing stuff. You know how I feel about stuff. Description would be nice. Number two, it's 5 days. It's not 2 days. And number three, they've come at the last minute. It doesn't sound like it's well planned, if planned at all.
I would point out one other thing. As of today, their insurance is still under review as well by our insurance company, SCORE. They have not approved that either.
So we
We don't know
four.
if they will or will not, but they're still under review and we have not received confirmation that they would agree to the event.
Okay.
Any further discussion from council?
I have enough information.
Okay.
Yeah, so do I.
Any recommendation or any discussion from the public? No. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but the fact that we try to do this willy-nilly and the fact that there's no representation from Golden Hour here today doesn't leave us a whole lot of wiggle room. I would make a motion that we not really want to, but I would make a motion that we deny the special event encroachment permit for lack of information and lack of just information. So
I'll second that. I agree. There's not enough information and it's still, everything is still in review. So I would assume it should have been planned a little bit better and a lot more time, at least a month or so ago. At least for this year, I agree with that.
So we got a first, we got a second. Can I have all in favor?
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Aye.
Councilmember Palfini,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
So the encroachment permit is denied. Well, let's move on to item number C, public safety special event encroachment permit. I believe this is for the 420 event. Do we have any further information?
Yes, so after the last council meeting, we were to obtain a part of the stipulation to the approval was insurance within 15 days and a site plan. Then there's a little bit of confusion here. I received a updated encroachment permit application on Monday. That turns out that was just a backup plan. It was just a suggestion that is not up for, that's not on the, even though it is in your agenda packet. Having spoke with the applicant, they're not looking to change the layout to what they submitted on Monday. The reason why it's back before you is the insurance was received Tuesday. We've given that to SCORE for review. We have not heard back from them. That's where we're at this point.
So
So
after,
there's still,
go ahead, Mark.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Is there still time to get that insurance? I think that's pretty important. That was kind of the reason why we did this, was to make sure that everything was in place, all the I's were dotted and the T's crossed. Am I correct in that?
Well, we needed to receive the insurance and the site plan. The insurance was received there was a bit of the applicant's insurance company didn't have what needed to be on the paperwork when they first submitted. They got that to us by
Right.
by Tuesday. It is now under review by SCORE. And we haven't received a yay or a nay as to whether SCORE will approve that.
Well, it's 10 days away then.
It is 8 days away. Or, yeah, I guess 9 days if you want to say it, but
Well, yeah, so I mean, that's the reason why we have the 15-day on that encroachment. We need it 15 days prior. So that's why it's back before you. That's where we're at. I believe we do have somebody here for that event.
do you have any questions, Melissa? You want to accuse yourself? No. Just kidding. Do we have a comment from the public?
Well, obviously, I'm the event holder, so
Okay,
basically, I best in negotiations, you have everything that you need to have from me. If we can negotiate where if SCORE can get back by Tuesday, Wednesday, I mean, tomorrow's Friday, they could get back with you tomorrow. They could wait the weekend and Monday. If they come back and say, for some reason, my policy isn't, but it's exactly what you asked for or whatever, and then let me know, okay, they're fine with the insurance, then I'll have the event. But if they get back to you Friday or Monday and say, for some reason, no, then I am in total agreement of not closing down Main Street, but I will still have an event at my facility. I'll just move everything indoors rather than outdoors, but I mean, you have the ability to decide, we have a couple of days to hear back from SCORE, and if they say, yes, this meets the requirements, then I can go forward. And if they tell you Monday or Tuesday or whatever day they get back to you that it doesn't, then all Justin has to do is let me know and I'll make different arrangements.
I generally am in favor of the 4 and 20 event. What I'm not in favor of, Liz, is the fact that we're waiting to the midnight hour and it puts an undue amount of work on our staff. That's why we asked for the timeline, is so that everybody here in our staff can do the proper thing about getting all the paperwork in, not having to figure out, do we need to bring it back to council? Do we not need to bring it back to council? Our chief needs to do extra work, our clerk needs to do extra work. I'm just having a hard time with that. So that's my issue with this encroachment permit.
Right, well, the initial papers were given to them on Monday. There was an error in how, I guess, the first page thing was printed out for the 200 or the $2 million. So the very next morning, because they're in Florida, 3 hours ahead of us. So at 12:01, the first email came in as far as getting it. So that puts 3 o'clock something there, which was on Monday because the April 5th was on a Saturday. The very next day, the proper amounts and everything were then corrected and put in. So it was just one day.
I know, but what I am hearing is why it didn't happen. What I'm not hearing is that we approved this last month. That's 30 days ago. And so I still am struggling with the fact that this timeliness is becoming an issue. Timeliness was on the issue just before this. And so I'm struggling here. I want to have events in the city, but I also don't want to put undue stress on everybody here that has to run around, and not only you're having to run around, our staff has to run around. Our public works needs to figure out who he's gonna hire for the day. Is it
No,
gonna
no,
happen?
we-
Is it not
Did you
gonna
tell him that,
happen?
Justin?
No, they're not aware of that. so-
Oh,
I mean, but
because of being Easter and public works and all that, we did not want to interfere with family anymore. So we did cancel having to have a stage. I didn't want to do that on the families and everything else. So the stage is not gonna be an issue. So public works is not in it anymore. And I also, being that there is a bar on the corner, asked Justin to revoke the alcohol thing. I don't think we need alcohol on Main Street. So there's no further anything. We're just now needing,
Is there any road closures going on?
So yes, the road closure would still be in effect. Rather than use a stage, they're gonna use an erect, a tent structure. So that's gonna free up any public works on that day from being utilized. Nobody has applied for an ABC event license. And so they're just going to, they will not need the waiver any longer of alcohol consumption or sales within the event. The bar can't allow anything out, so we don't have to worry about that. That's against their ABC license.
Chief, is there any change in the amount of officers you have on for this event?
No, it would remain the same, whether, are you talking about above normal staffing?
Yes.
We typically bring in one extra person for the day.
On Easter Sunday, so we're paying them triple time?
No, you're, no, you don't pay, anything above, it would be potentially overtime if it was not a scheduled shift for them,
Okay.
yeah.
so I seriously took everything into consideration for those very reasons. I don't want that.
Well, obviously, everyone already knows my views on this, but I would add, Ken, that I agree with you on staffing, and we still have our fire and police that are waiting to make decisions on what they're going to do, not just our internal staff here in the city. This has been on calendar for quite some time. And I do have concerns about our vote on the prior one for the same reasons. And to me, there's an even-handedness issue.
So what we need is a motion to approve the permit or deny the permit. Does anybody
Well,
want to?
you can't approve it if you don't have the issues of the insurance.
So let's just clarify, the permit's been approved, so the new permit is not on the table. That was a backup plan, there's some confusion over that.
I'm
So-
okay with that.
So the current permit is approved. What I brought before you is the possibility of a revocation because of the lack of insurance, and we're so close to the event. So you can modify that any way that you'd like. I believe we would be okay if you wanted to set a date.
Okay.
But we're very, very close to the event now. We're just at this point waiting on to hear from approval from our insurance, which has had some issues with, they're scrutinizing, and rightly so, not just this, but all events that are being submitted.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's
Public
good for-
entity under the screws right now, I'm telling your friends.
I mean, I think the way to think about this is that it was approved with conditions. Technically, the condition wasn't met because the insurance was provided 14 days in advance instead of 15. That would have given the acting city manager sufficient grounds to simply say you've failed to meet all the requirements and therefore your permit is not active. Instead, that question has been brought to you. So you certainly have the discretion to accept the insurance and subject to SCOR's approval, which is you still need to wait for. But you also have the ability to revoke it based on the failure to meet the actual black letter of the conditions. And certainly they've at this point, they've complied with the conditions, and really only thing we're waiting for is confirmation from our risk pool that insurance is sufficient. And obviously if it wasn't, then that would nullify the permit in and of itself, I think. So either, I think the motion that staff originally recommended prior to receiving any insurance, because that's when this was posted, was to revoke. But
Right,
at this point, it
when
changed.
when it was posted at the time, we didn't have the insurance. So when the agenda was posted, excuse me, we didn't have insurance.
So it was a
And
revoke.
we had an actual application for a whole new event or site plan. Again, that's off the table. And then we received it 12 days in advance on Tuesday.
I would move to revoke the permit. I believe that it's taxing our resources, our law enforcement, our fire from preparations. And who knows, we could be waiting until the Friday before the event to get the insurance. And if we say that we're willing to accept it, if the insurance goes through, that means everyone's sitting on hold until SCORE makes a decision.
Motion made. Is that the motion?
Yes.
Do I get a second? Based upon all. What's
Well,
that?
I'm thinking that we need to put a time limit for that insurance, for SCORE to okay it. Whether it's a Monday or it's Tuesday, then after that, then I'm for revoking it. It's because I agree, it's taken so much time, and it was tabled and then it was brought back. This seems to be about the third time it's here.
Yeah, I'm a little tired of the redundancy for me.
Yeah.
I am.
And it's,
I will just second, personally, I will just, if you're gonna make that motion, fine. But I will just second, Melissa's motion to revoke. If you wanna amend that with conditions, Mark,
So,
you're
yeah,
able.
so Mark, you would have to make a substitute motion that put a deadline on receiving confirmation from SCORE prior to revocation.
okay. Well, I would like to do that because I did vote in favor for this because we've never had these problems before. And so I want to be fair in all of it. So I would say by Tuesday, if there is nothing from SCORE by Tuesday, I'll make a motion then that it be revoked.
So we have to entertain that motion first.
No, it needs a second in order for you to entertain, and I think it might make sense to just clarify, Councilmember Mazzoni, when you say Tuesday, do you close of business on Tuesday?
Close of business on Tuesday, which would be the 15th, I believe.
Okay, so that's the motion. It would need a second in order for you to entertain it.
Okay.
I'm thinking. And the reason I'm thinking, I will tell you, is that on the item above, because of lack of timeliness, we deny. And there are a few other things attached to that, but one of those issues was timeliness. No, I'm not gonna second that. I hate to say that.
So that motion dies for lack of second, and then the original motion is what's on the table.
So the original motion is to revoke the permit. Can I get a vote? All in favor?
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Abstain.
Can't abstain.
Okay.
If you want to vote no, vote no. If you want to vote yes, vote yes. Vote what you.
I said, I say yes.
Councilmember Palfini,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein.
Aye.
So
That motion
the
carries.
encroachment permit is revoked. And I just would like better organization from all participants. Not here, but everywhere. On to item F, actually, we need to get Daryl back in here. He's probably fell
He
asleep.
recused himself from F2.
He recused himself from it.
from item F?
Yes,
Okay.
so that's you.
Item F, public safety road closure. I will make a motion that we don't need that anymore because the 4 and 20 permit has been revoked. Any discussion?
I'll second it.
Do we need any discussion with that? I don't think.
No,
we do.
that's.
Kind of one
that's
after
moot,
the
yeah.
other.
Just,
Um,
you can just table that one. Remove it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, you need, we're ahead of you. Go ahead.
Councilmember Mazzoni, I grabbed that.
I'm not that.
Councilmember
Aye.
Belknap.
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein.
Aye.
All right.
So the motion was just a table.
Yeah.
We're tired. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to.
You wanted to have enough time for coffee.
I didn't even finish it. I was worried that I had other externalities from taking too much coffee.
Okay. We're on to item number 13.
13, staff reports. All right, well, unfortunately, it looks like our public has all left us, so move on now to staff reports, and we'll start with Chief Carter.
All right, last month we responded to 55 emergencies, and they were covered by 2 full-time personnel, 4 resident firefighters, and 3 volunteers. We've interviewed 2 people for our resident firefighter program, and one of our current resident firefighters moved out last week. I attended the Siskiyou County Fire Chiefs Training Committee meeting at COS, which is a committee that basically runs and directs all fire training within the county. Just an update, if you remember the grant that we got for the slip-in tank that was designed to go into the pickup. I had some concerns regarding freezing issues, and that could lead to some maintenance costs. So I talked to the grant people, and they approved us to be able to utilize those funds to pay for the tank and pump on our new fire engine that's already being built. So that's positive. That's gonna be about $35,000 towards the engine build that's being built right now. And on that note, I did speak with Cascade Fire earlier this week, and we're still on track to receive the engine by the end of June.
Good news.
That's all I have.
Very good.
All right, Director Porterfield.
I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
All right, Director Davis.
So yes, I'd like to thank the public for being patient with the construction going on in College Avenue. They are installing a sewer line at this point. Further down or later on down the year, they will be also doing more construction on College Avenue, installing the water line going down there. But right now it is sewer. Just to give you guys an update on our building inspector, we did interviews the past week, and we got one guy going through a background check right now.
Very good.
Good news. Thank you. Chief/Acting City Manager Mayberry.
So for the police department, 1,954 incidents for March, 44 cases, 21 arrests. In the acting city manager role, I think that moving forward, we should probably streamline this or take a look at our encroachment permit process to try to give a little bit more time to ourselves and SCORE and require a little bit more. I have the city clerks looking into possible changes to that current application that's going to help both Public Works and the city with future events. And then I think Councilman Palfini may have forgot, but just invite everybody to the park on 4/19 for the Kids Day.
Thank you.
Everybody, fire, police will be there. So please, everybody come out and enjoy that.
All right. Thank you.
There's going to be a huge amount of vendors. It's gonna be a fun time for the kids, actually.
What time is it?
It's a family fun day. It's free to all parents and kids. There's food. There's events taking place. The fire department usually comes and does a little thing with their hose. The police department usually has another event going on. I'm thinking they did, I can't remember what they did last year. But
It's typically just a little mini putt-putt.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we have CAL FIRE coming this year. We have Kids Love Fire. Man, we don't have any more firebugs out there, but they do love fire. There are also face painting, bounce houses, entertainment, a drummer's circle from going on. I believe there's music, something else. There's probably, I think we have about 50 vendors at least.
What hours is it operating?
It's operating from 10 to 2, so it's 4 quick ones. Yeah, not a long time. I do need to borrow Public Works too, just to be upfront for a flatbed truck that, because my wife won't let me use her pickup anymore, but we know that story.
It just the staff, maybe one thing we could do on the encroachment permit is change it to 15 business days as opposed to calendar days.
Yeah, there's actually, this has been discussed before in past years. There was actually a whole different application that was drafted, so we're gonna take another look at that.
Great.
And on that encroachment permit, is there a full list of what's necessary? So if you hand them a permit on what they want to do, what follows that application?
Not to turn this into a discussion item, but one thing that's not being addressed by our city that is by other cities is there's a fee for most cities in the county just to turn the application in. So.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something staff's working on. It'll be brought back at a later meeting, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for bringing up the fun day, Bill. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All
So not to
right.
continue the encroachment permit application, but
On to our city clerk's report.
our current encroachment permit application, a event encroachment permit application, and an encroachment ordinance have all been submitted to David for review and comment and recommendation. So hopefully that will be before you soon. We do have a planning commission next week. They will be holding a public hearing to review, make recommendations to city council on our long-term hotel stay ordinance. So since that is zoning, we do have to have a public hearing at the planning commission level. And then if they recommend to you, we will have to have a public hearing next month for you to introduce.
All right. And our city attorney.
I did attend the Legal Advocacy Committee meeting for Cal Cities a couple weeks ago regarding lawsuits that the Cal Cities wants to join as an amicus for. So just wanted to give you an update on that. And also next month, our meeting coincides with the Cal Cities City Attorneys Conference. So I will be attending our meeting next month by Zoom.
Okay.
But I hope I will have a camera as well as audio.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all for your staff reports. Our next item is to adjourn to closed session. Closed session is for public employee appointment regarding city manager. I'll open for public comment at both locations. Do we have any?
They left.
All right. Seeing as there is no public comment, we'll accept a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I so motioned.
I second.
All right. We'll take a vote now.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Palfini,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitstein,
Aye.
Mayor Parham.
Aye. We are now adjourned for closed session. Being light, everybody always complains. Hang in the machine shop if you're scared that way.
Usually I'm in trouble when I hear that.
I'd say you should be used to hearing a gavel on your line of work.
TSD.
Yeah, right.
Melissa, are you gonna call my phone?
You need to, Mark, go ahead and call.